What's up traders, welcome to Failure to Displace, and in this video we're going to take a look at this morning's London session on EURUSD where there was this monster 13R potential setup. I recorded the entry live so we can see the live execution here. I'll run through the analysis that led to taking this entry and also show you why I really do regret closing out at 2.5R when this thing constantly ran. So this is a really good lesson in why you should leave a little bit on the table for runners. Let's jump into the analysis now and see how we came up with this setup. As always, we're going to start the analysis off on the 15-minute time frame. So we can see we've got a rather large new week opening gap here. So price closed on Friday up here and opened again down here. So this orange shaded box is our opening gap. You can see Asia's come up, but we haven't filled the opening gap already. So this is immediately giving me a bullish bias because I always expect these to get filled pretty quickly when the markets reopen. You can see we have untapped liquidity above us and below us, so New York PM session high from Friday and then our current daily low, Asia low, as the markets opened again. Below us, targets here. We're having a bit of a pullback, you can see, from last week, so price is pulling back into the range. The main thing that I'm noticing here is this unfilled new week opening gap, so I'm expecting that to get filled, so whether we can get an entry at this point or not, I don't know. Dropping into the charts, what's drawing my attention is this bullish fair value gap that we've left here and bearish fair value gap opposing it. So this is our balanced price range. Where these two overlap is a highly sensitive area. So if price comes back here, especially on a 15-minute, so this is a higher time frame balanced price range, I would expect a reaction. So I'm going to be paying close attention to this level. Also looking at pulling a fib from the low to the current high here. And we can see optimal trade entry is just below these relative equal lows on the 15-minute. So we do have two relative equal lows here. So we've got sell side liquidity that's above this balanced price range. There is this swing low here and this, so we've got two again relative equal lows just below that, right above the top, so creating this balanced price range. So what's drawing my attention then is that we've got equal lows at optimal trade entry and equal lows just above this balanced price range. This obviously is a higher time frame order block, so all of this is happening inside this large bearish order block. If we drop onto a lower time frame, could class these down closed here. As our OB, so these are the last consecutive down closed candles that created the swing low. So this section of price action, let's just zoom in a bit and correct that, is our order block. So we've got a balanced price range above an order block. The breaker block isn't while up here. So the breaker block is these three candles here that would create this swing high to come to the new swing low. So it's above where we're looking at really. I wouldn't be looking to take a trade off the top of this breaker block because we've got equal lows below it, and this balanced price range. So I'm really focused on the balanced price range just into the optimal trade entry area if I'm going to look for a potential long or a sweep of the low. We could get the 2022 model reversal, or price could continue higher and then we'll look for a reversal at the top. So we just need to see how price progresses now. We've got no news on the table this morning. And so all yellow folders. However, I am aware that we've got PMI later on this afternoon and also Fed Chair Powell speaking as well. So I'm going to be very conscious about holding trades for a long time because red news, especially of this size, can really affect how price reacts. So I'm going to be taking profits quite quickly. We'll scroll through and see if we sweep some high liquidity or come down to our area of interest down here. So London opens, our London session opens at 1 AM. So this is the open of a brand new 4-hour candle. You can see we have built this kind of trend line liquidity here. So we do have a swing high in place, a little bit of buy side liquidity above us into this big fair value gap as well. So an aggressive move back down again. Paying close attention to the time, so 1:55. So we're looking for something at the start of a 15-minute candle. This is one of our confluences that I mentioned in the previous video. So see what happens at 2. So price aggressively moving down. So we are taking out that sell side. We've got the sell side below into the balanced price range. I want to watch this on a 15-minute because that's where the balanced price range is, to see if this balanced price range is respected. We've closed into the balanced price range. There's my trigger. So this is what triggered me to start looking for the long. So we were at 2 AM, well 1:45 coming into the 2 AM candle. Price closed on this 15 inside this balanced price range. So it respected the BPR and rejected off this last order block. So at this point I went to a 1-minute time frame to look for a potential entry. So on the 1 minute, you can see we've had a very big buyback at 59. So 1:59, we've had this strong impulsive candle. So this is coming into the new hour now. Really strong, and we're leaving a 1-minute balanced price range here now. So this is really good price action in my opinion. It's very easy to think I've missed this because of this such a strong reaction. The key is to stay calm. Price has come down, really strong buyback into the open of the new hour, leaving a balanced price range, breaking structure as well. So at this point, as price had run away, I essentially decided that I was going to be looking for an entry at 2:15. So I drop a line on here at 2:15, and then we're going to pay close attention to what happens at the new 15-minute candle opening. So within this area, we've got several confluences lining up. We've got the balanced price range, obviously, which we've established from the 15-minute analysis is a very sensitive area. We have a breaker block. These candles here, so these last up closed candles, they created a high before this new swing low. So these last up closed candles are our breaker block. So we have a balanced price range within a breaker. Obviously we've left a bullish fair value gap also because that's part of the balanced price range. And then the last down closed candles, 1, 2, 3, 4, these are an order block. We've got lots of things lining up here. We've respected a 15-minute balanced price range, and then we are creating a potential reversal market structure with several PD arrays to support a bullish buyback, all in this area. So we want to see what happens as we retrace back into this for the open of a new 15-minute candle. So I recorded this live so you can see price action from this point here. This is where I was setting and forgetting the trade, let it run, walk away from the charts. We'll jump to the live recording now. So I'm going to narrate this in past tense because I didn't record my narration live while I was doing this. I just did a screen recording. So you can see at this point, I'm just highlighting the 1-minute balanced price range, and I've just checked the 15 BPR to see that we closed over it. So we respected it with that bearish candle. We've had a very strong buyback. So this is where I was building the case now, noting the order block, noting the breaker block. And my thesis is that I'll take an entry or a long position from the breaker block, specifically looking for something to happen at 2:15. We'll just scrub through price a little bit more quickly now until we get to the 2:15 candle, just to see how the entry's triggered. So here we are, we're at 2:14 now. Price has done exactly what I wanted it to do. It's consolidated a little bit, building some liquidity, and then what I want to see is a quick tap into that breaker block at the start of the new 15-minute candle. So I've got a limit order all set, ready for the candle to open. And once we get triggered, hopefully we get a very aggressive buyback. So everything's aligning up here. If you go back to the last video that I released, breaking down my whole process, we can see the confluences that I've got is I've got a breaker block, I've got a higher time frame balanced price range, I have an order block here, I've got a lower time frame balanced price range. So there's lots of PD arrays that price needs to drop through for my trade to be wrong. So this is an A+ setup. I really think that this is a strong one. We're getting triggered in at the start of a new 15-minute candle just as the icing on the cake. What I'm doing is I'm planning on taking 50% of the trade off at 1-to-1. So this is to make myself risk-free quickly. It's a conservative approach, but obviously, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, we've got PMI and we've got FOMC speaking later on in the sessions. So I'm conscious that price may not react as smoothly as I expected. And then my plan is just to close out at 2.5R, that previous swing high that I highlighted, that liquidity earlier on, just as a really quick trade, get it over and done with. It was an error. I did close out in full, and as we saw from the beginning, there was a potential for 13R on this trade. We'll scroll through price a little bit quicker now and see how it plays out in live time. So here's 1-to-1's just been hit, so we are risk-free at this point, and then we're going to be targeting the high. So I wasn't at the screen as this done. I had already preset my orders, so the plan with this trade was literally set and forget. I wanted to walk away and not interfere and over-manage the trade. Been struggling a lot with emotions recently, closing trades too early, not taking entries and that kind of thing. So it's a Monday, start of a new week, and the plan is just to follow the process and not let my emotions get in the way. So 50% of the trade has been closed. The other take profit is already preset for the swing high at 2.5R. And here we just hit the 2.5, so that's the trade closed out in full. So everything worked out properly. However, you can see we do have lots of ramp liquidity just above us. There's the swing highs that we could have targeted. And likewise, this ramp volume that's just dropping down here is easy internal liquidity. And so low resistance liquidity run to take that a lot out. So I could have held it for a good 4R, which would have been logical. But I just wanted to bag a good trade for the beginning of the week. So there was the live execution. You can see that my trade management wasn't particularly on point and was too quick to take profit, obviously closing out the 2.5 at this swing high here. If my initial analysis, which was that the new week opening gap was going to get filled, that would have been a really nice 4.8R. Obviously, we'd highlighted this ramp liquidity above us, so we knew we had buy side. We'd not quite closed the new week opening gap, so logically a 4.8, that would have been a logical take profit. So I'm a little bit disappointed with the way that I managed that trade, but having said that, taking the positives away, the entry was solid, superb entry, 15-minute cycle starting with the tap of that breaker block, just absolute perfection, and you can't grumble with 2.5R in like less than 15 minutes. So really happy with that. If I do anything different in the future, it would be just to leave some runners. Close out this. I could have taken 50% of the trade off here. I could have taken another 50% of the trade off here, and then let the rest run to see we can take untapped Asia high for 7R, and then, I mean, sky's the limit on that one. So I could have left runners, trailed my stop loss, bagged a little bit more profit. But the main takeaway from this video is that the analysis and the entry was absolutely perfect. So I'm really chuffed with that. If you guys did enjoy the analysis, then please leave the video a thumbs up. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments section below and I will do my best to answer. And if you're enjoying this kind of content and want to see more videos like this, live executions and walkthroughs, my thought process as trades are playing out, then consider subscribing. The channel's having some fantastic growth at the moment. It's really inspiring me to continue making this content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.